I'm live now, so just do random talk when it hears.
Okay. Check. We are here live at the International Boxing Hall of Fame in CANASTOTA, New York. Live via the PorterWay Podcast. We are providing all of the latest and best footage for you guys and coverage of the Hall of Fame. Show you guys the inductees, all of the festivities we've got for the Hall of Fame weekend here. We've got Manny Pacquiao, Michael Nunn, Jessica Chavez, a lot of very honorable and historic names in the sport of boxing. And tomorrow they will be crowned Hall of Famers. Every boxer, they all like to enjoy the fruits of their labor, and this is an opportunity to do just that. For them to say, I finally did it, I finally became a boxing Hall of Famer. They dedicate their livelihoods, all their time and effort, and I'll read it for you.
I'm doing a public stream right now, so you should see it on your phone.
Okay.
Also, tell me how it sounds on your phone, too. You hear that pop up?
Let's do a little check. Here we are at the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Here we are, coverage of the PorterWay Podcast, brought to you by Shawn Porter. And we are going to be covering all the festivities. And it's going to be a fun day. It's going to be a fun 2 days, honestly. Yesterday, Friday, we had some events. We had Mark Kriegel come up here, all the Hall of Famers. They got their casts for the Hall of Fame done right up on this very stage. And basically, they all put their hands in the plaster, made a fist, and that's it. They're just waiting to be officially inducted tomorrow night. But until then, we have all the festivities going on here. Fans, spectators are getting excited to watch what's going to be a very special night and day for the sport of boxing. And we're going to cover it all here at the Boxing Hall of Fame. You know, it's my first time being here, very cool. We got a little bit of, some footage of the memorabilia, all the merchandise in the gift shop. It's going to be very exciting, and you guys should think about coming up. Pull up if you guys are near. If not, make sure to tune into the PorterWay Podcast, because we'll have some videos for you guys to enjoy, like this live stream. We're just chilling, we're enjoying the weather. The weather's cooperating with us today, and we get to see some good fighters, some great fighters, legends. Jim Lampley's gonna be here soon, so tune in for that. That'll be cool. He's gonna be doing a Q&A for the fans, and he has his book called It Happened. I've talked to Jim Lampley a few times. He's a great guy. And, he has that voice, that legendary voice. It's hard to even have a conversation with him because you keep getting excited. You think that you're watching a fight when Jim's talking to you, but yeah, definitely a Hall of Famer. I'm not sure if Jim is even inducted in the Hall of Fame yet. Honestly, he's still pretty active. Did that Times Square, New York card and did a phenomenal job. It was like old boxing was back for a night. The actual fights, however, did not deliver as much. But very cool to see Jim Lampley back at it for big events. Obviously, the sport of boxing is trying to make the biggest fights happen now. And with different players, different facilitators in the game right now, it's just a free-for-all, honestly. We're trying to get the best to fight the best, and I think it's been working so far. We're getting that, but some of the fights haven't performed, or they haven't delivered, at least to the extent that we would have liked. But that's reality. That's the reality of the sport of boxing. Sometimes we get super exciting fights that we didn't think were going to be any good, and sometimes we have all the anticipation in the world. You got your Pacquiao, Mayweather moments where we thought it was going to be the fight of the century, turned out to just be another average fight. But if you watch Pacquiao Mayweather again, I encourage you guys to do that and just take away all the animosity and all the attention and speculation leading up to the fight. Just watch the fight itself. It's a good fight. It's a solid fight. No knockdowns, nothing crazy happens, but you see two very high-level boxers go at it. Yeah, just really good stuff. So Pacquiao's going to get inducted, and it's going to be exciting because Manny's, obviously accomplished a lot. Usually in the Boxing Hall of Fame, they don't allow typically people to get inducted to the Hall of Fame unless they're retired, right? And Pacquiao did retire 4 years ago, technically against Ugas, but with his return to the sport this coming July against Mario Barrios, it's fair to say that, he's unretired. And they already planned this. They already technically announced that he would get inducted to this Hall of Fame, the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
How many of y'all went to the fights last night? He was just telling me that it
in 2024.
Midnight, is that right?
Let's listen in. Okay, we got a man walking.
He was in bed meditating at that point. But I hope you enjoyed the fights. That's noon. Yeah, the rest will be here, yeah. And I'm going to kind of sort of make it a lot about Kenny Bayless because he's, being inducted. But I'm looking forward to Ross Greenberg, who's going to be filling in, at least at that time slot, for Tito Trinidad. I love storytelling. How many of you saw One Nation Divisible, which was about Ali Frazier 1? That was a Ross Greenberg production, and it's one of my favorites. One Nation Divisible, all about leading up to Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier 1.
Okay. We've got some more footage around. That was, I was saying, Pacquiao will be getting inducted, and honestly one of my favorite fighters. No, he's my favorite fighter, I gotta say. Being such a small, physically, and still pretty short and skinny fighter, was able to go up multiple weight divisions, skip some. Honestly, it could have been 10 weight division world title holder, but Pacquiao's a legend. It's gonna be really exciting. It's gonna be really cool to see him finally get inducted into the Hall of Fame because Floyd had his. A lot of the legends already did get inducted, so it's really exciting to see. Oh, someone's taking shots at Keyshawn already. If you guys aren't aware, big boxing news. You guys should know. If not, I question how locked in you are with boxing, but Keyshawn Davis failed to make weight by well over 3 to 4 pounds, and just a bad look in general because we were all
mentioning some of the sponsors of the 2025 International Boxing Hall of Fame: The Ring, Turning Stone Resort and Casino, the WBO, the IBO, the IBF, the WBA, WBC, TKO, Top Rank Boxing, ESPN, Golden Boy, GTV Promotions,
Golden Boy,
Wasserman Promotions, Cleo Atleas, UFC, Salida Promotions, Matchroom Boxing, Best PR Boxing, Queensberry Promotions, ESPN Knockout, Fight Book, and my pal Samson Boxing.
All right, chat. What's going on? We got some viewers in
Same
here.
deal as yesterday. The shuttle service will be running from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., offering hourly transportation between the Hall of Fame and Turning Stone Resort and Casino. The shuttle pickup is right in front of the Hall of Fame.
Very cool. So they have some transportation for the fans. If they don't have a car, you ain't got a driver, you got a taxi, they have some transportation from here to the turning point.
Dunkin' Donuts coffee is way better than Starbucks. So if anybody wants to debate me about that, we will do it. Dunkin' Donut coffee, way better than Starbucks.
I'd agree.
You tell Starbucks is not a sponsor of my show.
I'd agree with that. You drink coffee, DDA? No coffee? Okay. then you don't get a vote. Shawn Porter, his podcast. Yeah, he's gonna be here. He's fine. Yeah. What's up, Sean? Very cool. We got some fans waiting for Sean. I don't think like people even know Sean's coming like that because he's not like in the pamphlet or anything like that. But very big name especially for the younger fans. I feel like everybody knows who Sean is. He's fought the best welterweights in the last 5 years. How do you not know Shawn Porter? Come on now.
Manifesting sunshine.
Yeah, for real.
Well, a good story for y'all. I get back to my room at Turning Stone last night, and as soon as I opened the door, the heat hit me. Something went wrong with the AC in my room, and it was 114 or 15 degrees inside my room. But they fixed the switch, and the coolness came back, and everything's all well.
So that was a universal issue, huh? That air conditioner ain't working.
Really?
That's what you said. You said turning point.
It's not working here either, huh?
But yeah, the AC, we gotta get the AC popping. It's hard to sleep. You know, we gotta get ready for the big days.
It's a good thing the weather cleared up.
The weather did clear up yesterday on Friday. A little bit of the event was affected by that, and I feel like more fans would have pulled up if they had known that it would clear up for a little bit. They kind of sped through the process, is what it is, but now we get a good day. But back to Keyshawn. Let's talk a little bit about Keyshawn Davis. A lot of you guys don't know. Maybe you guys do know, you should know, but Keyshawn Davis did miss weight. He blew weight and basically weighed in as a 140 pounder, which is crazy just because, you know, Keyshawn just got his title. We were all on the hype train. I was on the hype train. I was very excited for Keyshawn, but to miss weight the way that he did, it makes me think, you know, you definitely knew you couldn't make it, or you didn't try. You know, I'm curious how close he waited to the weigh-in to start making the weight, or, you know, did he not prepare enough? Did he not prepare because he's been fighting actively at 135, and to suddenly not be able to make weight, not even get close to it as your first title defense is kind of crazy. Not a good look for Keyshawn, but still a fan for sure. I wish they had some kind of replacement, but Abdullah Mason and Nakatia will step in as the main event for tonight, and that's still going to be a good fight. It's still going to be a good fight. I do think that Abdullah Mason is the future of boxing, so it's still going to be a tremendous night of boxing regardless. It does hurt that Keyshawn won't be fighting in Norfolk, his hometown. I'm sure he was going to have a great turnout, and now they're kind of giving a lot of fans the opportunity to get refunds for their tickets because Keyshawn won't be fighting as of now. So I'm pretty sure he's not going to fight. I mean, it's the day of the fight. I just feel like it was going to be a great fight for the fans. De Los Santos having that fight against Rayo, having that fight against Shakur, where he made Shakur look a little bit afraid of his power and whatnot. But, you know, Keyshawn and Edwin De Los Santos, that would have been a good one for sure. Is what it is. That's the sport of boxing. These things happen. But my point is that you can't really just throw money at problems in the sport of boxing. You know, I think Keyshawn thought that he could do what Ryan Garcia did and blow weight. And, you know, like Devin was still trying to get that Ryan fight because it was Ryan at the end of the day. Obviously, money was given to him, forfeited to him, but at the end of the day, you're not Ryan Garcia, Keyshawn, and you're a great fighter, but I feel like you got to make weight. It's part of the sport for sure. But it is what it is. You know, we'll see what Keyshawn does next. But yeah, beautiful day here at the International Boxing Hall of Fame, the showplace of boxing, CANASTOTA, New York. The crowd is slowly starting to flow in, and people are excited to see all the festivities that we got today. I'm excited though. Definitely excited to see Abdullah Mason fight later tonight. But until then, there's a chance we'll see Pacquiao. Hopefully we can get some exclusive stuff for you guys. It's all in the air, up in the air right now. But yeah, for sure. Let's get in the chat. And it'll be exciting. It'll be an exciting day. We got a lot of fans coming in. They got the gift shop over there. Hopefully we get to buy some stuff a little later And, you know, hopefully if you guys are in the area, you guys can check it out as well. But it'll be exciting. It'll be exciting. They got shirts, they got your hats, merch, a lot of stuff you guys can win in a silent auction. So that's stuff to tap into for sure. But yeah, a lot of fans. A lot of fans. The weather's cooperating at the moment, so hopefully, knock on wood, that remains to be the case. And we should be getting closer to the events because, let's check the schedule real quick. We got Saturday. They had their run already, 10 a.m. ringside talks. It is currently 9:56, so in about 4 to 5 minutes, we should start to see some interviews, some Q&As. And it says museum grounds. We're on museum grounds, so we're just waiting to see what's popping and have some big names on the stage. I know Jim Lampley will be here shortly. That'll be really cool to see. Very excited to see, but it'll be exciting. Live on the PorterWay.
Because Jim Lampley is on his way.
Was? Question mark? Somebody said was. So the live chat DDA says members only. Is there any way to make that public or no? Or just leave it?
Oh, I'll change it.
Just so we could get some fans' perspectives. We can let you guys kind of watch what's going on. We're doing full coverage. We're talking Hall of Fame. We're talking current boxing fights going down. And, you know, the breaking news, keep talking about it. Keyshawn missing weight. That one hurts. You know, I'm a little, if you guys can't tell, I'm a little bit salty because Keyshawn's one of my favorite fighters to watch right now, active. And for him to miss weight, you know, put this fight in jeopardy, kind of sucks, for sure. You know, he has a lot of fans. You know,
whoever my personal photographer is putting up those great shots on X and all the others. I don't even know who you are, but you're doing a heck of a job.
But yeah, this is fun, guys. We're gonna have Shawn here soon. He'll be around, and I'm sure a lot of fans. He's gonna get mobbed by all the boxing fans.
Subscribers only can chat now.
Okay, subscribers only can chat now. So leave your guys' comments, whatever you guys want to talk about. We'll be here covering boxing for a while. But yeah, Shawn will be here. Should be landing maybe a little bit soon, and it'll be awesome because I know a lot of fans, they love to see Shawn. Shawn's a nice guy. He's gonna take pictures with everybody, and he's a champ. He's a champ. Shawn has one of the most.
Yeah. Now some of the content that we're doing is going to be members only. It's going to be really exclusive. So just stay tuned.
Yep. Stay tuned for the members only content. We're going to try to get some behind the scenes footage as well. Who knows? Maybe we'll talk to Pacquiao today. That'd be cool. And Shawn obviously sparring Pacquiao. They have a pretty cool dynamic and history that they've had together. So I'm sure that sparring was crazy. Imagine watching Shawn Porter and Manny Pacquiao spar. I'd buy the pay-per-view for sure. That's honestly a fight that should have happened. You know, Shawn, Manny, two of the most high-volume welterweights we've ever seen in the sport of boxing. For them to go at it, that would have been a good fight. I don't know who would have won. Both my guys, you know what I'm saying, Pacquiao and Shawn, but definitely an exciting one for sure. Definitely one of the boxing fans would have loved to see at 147. But Shawn's enjoying, you know, the broadcasting, the podcaster life, and I don't blame him. You know, with boxing, anybody who really knows the sport, they know how grueling and intense, taxing, and how difficult the training is for the sport. You got to be incredibly disciplined, extremely dedicated to your craft. You got to go in day out, run 4 to 5 miles.
I want to mention again the CANASTOTA School District's Leadership Program. 30 high schoolers, ambassadors have worked since September, learning many skills including communication, event planning, hospitality, professional image and marketing, and they are volunteering to put their lessons to use. They're wearing the matching polo shirts and lanyards, and they'll be helping out as they did yesterday with the questions from you folks for the plethora of pugilistic greats we'll have up here today. Day 3 of the International Boxing Hall of Fame, which all culminates tomorrow with the parade with actress and producer Sydney Sweeney and the induction itself at Turning Stone Hotel and Casino.
They said Sydney Sweeney will be here. That'll be interesting. I believe she has a boxing movie coming out, so I guess this is her way of promoting and marketing her new movie. So we'll see what happens. I believe that'll be Sunday. I'm not sure if she's going to be here today, but very cool.
We always talk about the greatest fighters of all time, but I just want to make sure you folks are in agreement with me that Johnny Carson is still the greatest talk show host of all time. Would y'all agree with that?
You got an opinion on that, DB?
Ryan. Not even, that's like comparing Sugar Ray Robinson, I won't even say the name. He's good though, I mean he's good, he is good. But no, Johnny was the man, the best.
This is like stand-up.
How I segued into Johnny Carson just shows you how weird I really am. Right? But I grew up listening to Carson. My mom was a cocktail waitress, and I would always wait on. I wouldn't go to bed until she got home, and I would watch Carson every single night. Got into my brain.
Anybody chatting?
Or lack thereof.
Any chat?
15 on. Just watching. Guys, type in the chat. We'll answer, we'll talk, whatever you guys want to talk about. Boxing, non-boxing, while we wait. We await the Hall of Famers. We await the speakers. We got Jim Lampley coming. Like I said, Jim's a great guy. Honestly, it was really cool. I'll tell a story about how I met Jim. I was at the Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach press conference, and I was sitting on an aisle seat. There was one seat next to me, and I hear a voice, and I'm like, I've heard that voice plenty of times, and I turned to my right. It was Jim. And it was just crazy to see because Jim's just like he's a regular guy. He's enjoying life now. And it was just crazy. He was telling me all the stories of Pacquiao. This was even before, there was big talk about Pacquiao getting into the Boxing Hall of Fame. Obviously, he was already announced to be in it, but Jim was just talking about stories of Manny and how cool it was to see a guy with a rags to riches story with Pacquiao, obviously being broke. He had to put stones in his pockets to make weight because he was too light to fight in his professional debut. So Pacquiao's one of those legends, and we're excited to see him today, celebrate him today. We'll probably see some moments between Jim Lampley and Manny Pacquiao, some moments where, they can kind of reminisce on all the moments they had on HBO, which was legendary. Obviously, there's nothing like HBO boxing. There's nothing like that crew with Emmanuel Stewart, Roy Jones, Jim Lampley. You could throw Max Kellerman in there, but everybody knows, the OGs know that HBO boxing is forever the GOAT of boxing. So leave some comments in the chat, and we'll try to get to all of them. And Sean should be around, later in the video. So stay tuned for any PorterWay Podcast content coming soon. But the sun's coming out, we're enjoying, we're having a good time. But all the fans slowly making their way in, and this is fun. We got a lot of exciting boxing matches coming up soon. We've got Canelo Crawford, that's a big one to look forward to. And obviously Pacquiao, Barrios, a lot of tremendous fights out there. We're hearing rumors about T.O. Haney. It was on, it's off. We'll see what happens. T.O. saying maybe he's taking a little time off, but a lot of big names right now. Shakur and Zepeda, we got that fight in Queens, I believe, in July, so that'll be exciting. July is a big month of boxing. We got Shakur. Hopefully we get a Haney fight. I really do like watching Devin fight. I feel like Devin gets a lot of hate, but excuse me. I'm excited, man. Like, it's gonna be good for boxing to keep the needle moving and make these big fights happen. We're tired of seeing guys get in the ring with fighters that don't belong in the ring with them, and we're starting to make some moves.
I thought Jim Lampley was like the highlight of that time square card.
Literally, that's what I was saying.
still going with Zepeda over Shakur? Is that your pick? Does anybody else pick Zepeda to beat Shakur? One, two, a few of them. Okay.
That's a rough pick.
Should be a good fight though. Good contrast of styles.
We should ask if they're taking bets for that. We have like 5 out of like, I'd say 50 people that are taking Zepeda over Shakur Stevenson. They must not like their money. They're gonna throw that away. I don't see it happening. You know, I think Zepeda's a good fighter, but Shakur has seen it all. You know, it's tough when you're sparring guys like Terrence Crawford and Keyshawn Davis. You're sparring the best offensive fighters in the world. And with Zepeda's style, I just see him not being able to catch Shakur. I just think it's going to look a lot like Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez looked. It's going to be frustrating for Zepeda. He's going to step on the gas, but whenever he tries to throw a punch and thinks Shakur is in range, he's not going to be there. That's just what that's what fighting Shakur is really like. You know, for every opponent, they all say the same things. He looks like he's in Shakur's reflexes, his ability to get out of range and step back in range. Great jab, measures the distance.
So Jim Lampley, Ross Greenberg will try to do some trivia. Hopefully we can squeeze that in. The referee talk at noon. Al Bernstein at 1. Mickey Ward with my pal Lee Groves at 1 o'clock.
He said Mickey Ward will be here at 1 o'clock. I'm gonna move over a little bit. Check out what else is going on. This is really cool. You guys are seeing it firsthand by way of the PorterWay Podcast that we got the Boxing Hall of Fame, baby. We're here. We're here up close and personal. We're giving it to you guys. Very cool. We got some tents set up. I believe these are for media, maybe some meet and greets, but some closed up right now. I guess we're too early, but got the posters behind ESPN, some of the sponsors, the WBC, the IBO, WBO, WBC. Very cool. If we're lucky, you might see us in one of these or a little bit later, but we shall see. Yeah, the rain is starting to clear up a little bit, so it's cool to see. What do we have here? Oh, I think they got some raffle tickets, and you guys can see it's the Vinny Paz fellow inductee 2025, and
Okay. I told you that Vinny Paz posters were today. Callie.
very cool. Ring Magazine edition. Phenom or Phenom. Very cool. Got some raffle tickets for the fans here. You guys could get a chance of taking this home. For the real boxing fans, hang it up, make it a nice picture, and it's very nice. Inductions tomorrow. Very nice.
You have any questions to ask them?
Oh yeah. Guys, talk to us about the raffle, what fans could potentially take home if they're lucky with these the tickets.
They can take home Paz's signed picture. Every day that we're here, we have a different picture of a boxer
Very cool.
that's signed. And we've had 2 winners.
Mhm.
We had Christy Martin and we had Mickey Ward yesterday, their pictures. So, and the winners were very happy.
They got excited, huh? I bet. They got
Yeah,
some
they were.
new home decorations. This is
In
awesome.
fact, with the guy yesterday, I sold him the tickets, and he was one of them that won the poster yesterday.
Yeah, that's awesome. If you guys have a Pacquiao one, the line's gonna be
I
crazy.
think it's going to be a big day.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Thank you. What a nice group of people, you know, here at the Boxing Hall of Fame. Hey Jim, how's it going?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good, how are you? Very cool to see Jim, obviously. Jim and his wife.
For ABC, called Legendary Mounts for HBO from 1988 to 2000.
Here we have Jim walking in.
Tyson Douglas, Foreman Moore, it happened. Gotti, Ward, Mo Holyfield, Morales, Barrera trilogies, a 5-time Sports Emmy Award winner, elected into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 2015. His biography, It Happened, a uniquely lucky life in sports television, is out right now. And in just a second, after a photo op or two, he will join us. And he is, of course, Jim Lampley, ladies and gentlemen.
Gonna do a Q&A with Jim.
How you doing, Jim? Have a seat right there. Right there. Another round of applause for Jim Lampley, and I don't know if they're on their way to help me. If you have, because I get to talk. I'm lucky enough I get to talk to Jim from time to time on the podcast and others. So it's about you folks, despite what they say about me. It's about you, and I want you to come up and have a question or a comment for Jim Lampley, and we will start out. I'll start out with one. And how does it feel to be back in CANASTOTA? You, of course, have been here for a while and been coming for a while. Tell us how it feels to always come back to boxing's title town, as I call it.
Always thrilling, always exciting to be here. Looking forward to seeing all of the names and faces that I get to see and interact with. Still have to pinch myself from time to time to recognize that I am not only familiar to those great people, and obviously they're familiar to me, but that there's a fellowship, there's a brotherhood, there's a friendship that bonds us all together, and to be here and feel it again, and feel the love and support from all of you people, the best people in the world, boxing fans, is
And young Mason is right here, so if you have a question, come right up, and Mason will get your name and where you're from, and a question for Jim Lampley. Let's get right into it. It happened. A uniquely lucky life in sports television. Why? We know where it happened came from, but why a uniquely lucky life in sports television? Why did you add that to the title?
Well, there are 100 reasons that I could include in that particular discussion, but the two things that come to mind, number one, my network television sportscasting career began with the accident, I would say, of being hired out of a 432 candidate talent hunt to be one of the first two people to stand on the sideline of a football game with a camera and a microphone. That was in 1974. And among the 432 people that they interviewed in that talent hunt, I look back and I'm pretty sure that I was the one among the 432 who least fit the qualifications that they had established in advance that they were looking for. They wanted somebody who was of undergraduate age. I was 25. They wanted somebody who was technically enrolled as an undergraduate. I was a graduate student at the University of North Carolina. There were a variety of other ways in which my identity diverged from what they had said. Oh, they wanted somebody who was a complete novice as a broadcaster, who had never had a camera in front of him or a microphone in his hand. I had done pregame and postgame shows and coaches shows and things like that at UNC for 2 or 3 years prior to that. So in all sorts of ways, I did not fit the mold, and they chose me anyway to begin my career. And then, more than a dozen years later, after I had built a profile and a career at ABC Sports, the network was sold, a new executive was put in charge of the sports division, and the first thing he made clear to everybody everybody in the sports division was.
So guys, we're gonna cut it for a bit, and I want to let you guys know that we're gonna have an exclusive interview on the PorterWay Podcast with the one and only Jim Lampley. So stay tuned for that, and we'll catch you guys in a bit.
The method he chose for getting rid of me was to assign me to boxing.